Well guys, I'm going to start off this video by saying oops, I broke the figure 8 car. It's been a really good season for this car. We ended up getting 3 first place finishes, 4 second place, and if you guys just watched the video from Troy, Ohio, we managed to get 3rd. We qualified out of our heat and into the feature, but then the car broke. So, I know some of you guys have been chomping at the bit and wondering what actually broke, what happened. So let's go ahead and actually go underneath of it here and I'll show you what broke. There's always a first for everything, it seems. And this is definitely a first for us. I mean, even in Derby, this would be something crazy. Look at that. So, obviously, the CV shaft is no longer connected as it should be. That pulled out of the transmission, but if you look at why that happened, how about that lower A-arm? What do you guys think of that? It literally, we tore the A-arm right in half. Not entirely sure exactly how that all happened, but that is what happened here. So that clearly is not good. That needs to be fixed. But the good news is, I suppose, is that it is fixable at this point. It's just unbolting the old parts, bolting new ones on, and then being good to go. So obviously that is not good. It is sitting on the trailer, but it will not roll in its current state, so we need to make some repairs in order to make that happen. So I think what we're going to end up doing here is we're going to jack up the front of the car. We'll jack it up. The strut and everything is all still attached, so the strut's still good, not bent as far as I can tell. Tie rod's all still attached. It was turning with the steering wheel when they lifted the front of this up with the tow truck. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack up the front of the car, so that way the wheel is suspended. We'll pull it out a little bit so we can get the CV shaft back into its proper pocket. Obviously, before I do too much of this, I'm going to have to pull the wheel. But then what I'm thinking I'm going to do in order to get this thing off the trailer, because I got to get this thing off the trailer and ready, the trailer ready, so I can go to another event here, actually tomorrow. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to lay a piece of steel across both halves of that A-arm, weld it on temporarily, and then hopefully, in a big hope, that will hold it together long enough that I can drive this car off the trailer and into the garage, because then at that point I can fix it over the winter. You know, I got time now, because that was Troy was the last race for this car. And so obviously those repairs have to be made, and so that's what I'm going to do here in a little bit. So I went ahead and did just as I said. I backed the trailer up here to the garage, that way I could be closer to the welder. And we jacked up the corner of this car here. And when we did that, the strut went right back in line with where it needed to be, and the tie rod was still attached, and that all looked good. The wheel came off, no problem. So all we did was we pulled the strut out, and we were able to slide that axle shaft right back into the cup, just like I said. And went ahead and very crudely welded a plate to the bottom of the A-arm here. It's again very crudely done, but there is a plate running across the bottom of it, welded on both halves. It does bow a little in the middle, but I think it'll be sufficient for what we need to do, which is simply at this point to get the car off the trailer. So we're going to go ahead here and actually put the wheel back on, and then see if we can get this thing off. And looking at it here, looks like it's taking the weight okay. It's not, you know, great, but it still took the weight, and it's not flexing a whole lot, so I think we'll be in good shape here to go ahead and get this thing off the trailer. So we're going to go ahead and actually move the trailer in front of the other bay and then get this thing off. we have it. It is in the shop. How about that? Love it when a plan works and comes together, especially when things like this are really broke. So that's exciting. At least now it's in the shop. It can sit for the winter for all I care, and we'll deal with it next year. A lot of stuff coming on personally here, so we're taking care of that. But there you go. It is back in the shop, fixed. Oops, I broke it, but at least now it can be fixed. So till the next video, we'll talk to you later, guys.